WLNS is here for you with 6 News at 5:30.
Thank you for joining us this evening at 5:30. I'm Siobhan Klepfer. Let's start the clock in our first 6 minutes of news. The verdict is in. New tonight, a jury in Monroe County just found the woman who crashed an SUV into a children's birthday party. They found her guilty of 2 counts of second-degree murder. Marcella Chidester was also convicted of several other charges as well, including drunk driving. She was behind the wheel last April when she crashed into the Swan Boat Club, killing 8-year-old Alana Phillips and 4-year-old Zane Phillips. The children were there for a birthday party. Dozens of others were injured. The trial started on Monday, and the case was given to the jury this morning. 66-year-old Chidester could be sentenced to life in prison. Prosecutors are now charging 2 men in a shooting in Kalamazoo, in addition to the charges they already have against them in another shooting back in October. 20-year-old Dominique Mutton and 18-year-old Javion Jackson are accused of shooting and injuring several people and damaging buildings and vehicles in the process. And then 2 months later in December, police say the same suspects fired shots outside the Little Caesars restaurant. 3 people were directly hit and a 4th was hit with shrapnel. Nobody was killed. Well, this video is tough to watch, but in Warren, a 12-year-old boy is alive tonight thanks to the quick action taken by a Warren police officer and others. The boy almost drowned in a hotel pool on Saturday. The officer happened to be at the hotel on another matter when the call came in. He sprinted to the pool and started CPR. Officials say he revived the boy just as firefighters showed up. Tonight, the boy is already out of a hospital and expected to fully recover. Now take a look at this. 3 people walking down the street in Brooklyn, New York on Saturday. Yeah, they were almost crushed by that falling tree. The whole thing captured on a nearby surveillance camera. The family says it was a miracle the tree didn't hit them. But at least 2 students and a school bus driver in Pennsylvania are in a hospital tonight. Their bus was involved in a crash today with 30 to 40 students on board. No word on how serious the injuries are. Video from the scene shows the bus off the road with a smashed front end against a tree. A witness said she saw the bus veer off the road and then hit that tree. The cause of the crash, though, is still being investigated. Meanwhile, rescuers in Alaska are still trying to reach the site where 3 skiers were buried in an avalanche on Tuesday. Those skiers reached the top of the mountain by helicopter and are believed to be dead. Experts say they don't want to speculate on the cause of the avalanche, but also say the weather has caused some snow layers in the area to weaken.
What we're looking at right now with this storm that's going on, we're seeing it's raining in Girdwood, but it's snowing up above 1,000 feet or so. We're adding a lot of snow right now, and it's obviously dangerous to anyone that's out.
Conditions on the mountain are expected to remain dangerous even after the storm system passes. Tonight, 8 people are recovering from injuries caused by 2 South Korean fighter jets accidentally dropping bombs on a civilian area. It happened during a joint live fire exercise with the U.S. military. 3 houses, a Catholic church, and a greenhouse were partially damaged, but they did not appear to have been directly hit by the bombs.
Confírmeme el combustible.
And this was the scene in Honduras after a U.S. Army helicopter had to make an emergency landing. It happened yesterday. All 5 people on board the aircraft were able to escape and were not hurt. Military sources say the Black Hawk was part of a training mission supporting humanitarian work throughout Central America. Back here in the U.S., Congressman Al Green of Texas was censured by the U.S. House today for interrupting President Donald Trump's speech to Congress on Tuesday night. The Democratic congressman stood as he and other members of his party yelled at the president as the Republican was beginning his speech. Congressman Green also refused to sit down as House Speaker Mike Johnson ordered him to. The speaker then had to have Congressman Green forcibly removed from the chamber. But during today's session, the congressman recalled the civil rights movement of the 1960s and said it was the president who was showing incivility and he will be resisted.
Mr. President, there are some of us who are going to stand against your incivility. We have reached a point in our history where we have to hearken back to that which got us to this point in our history.
The resolution against Green was approved in a mostly party line vote of 224 to 198. No Republicans voted against it and 10 Democrats voted for it. A countersuit has been filed days after two ferry companies joined a lawsuit against the city of Mackinac Island. Sheplers and Mackinac Island Ferry Company argue the city is overstepping its authority in their franchise agreements by refusing their proposal to increase fares that they say will help cover rising costs and a $6 million investment to upgrade an aging fleet. In the countersuit, the city says what was traditionally a small but open industry has turned into a monopoly, and lawyers for the city say the ferry companies could be challenged under antitrust laws. Tonight, there's another lunar lander on the moon. 8 days after launch, the second commercially built space machine touched down near the moon's south pole today. Officials are still working to confirm the spacecraft's status and orientation, but it is loaded with sophisticated instruments, 2 small rovers, experimental cellular communications gear, and a rocket-powered hopper that will bounce from site to site near the lander. And spending some money to finish out the first 6 minutes of news. How much would you pay for a Cheeto? You know, one of those orange, puffy, popular snacks. One of them? Well, someone just paid nearly $88,000 at an auction for one on Sunday. Some say it looks like the beloved Pokemon Charizard, which is a 3-inch long, I should say it is a 3-inch long flaming hot Cheeto to be exact. I don't know if that makes a difference. The auction says it was initially discovered and preserved sometime between 2018 and 2022. The Cheeto surged in popularity on social media late last year, Kendall.
I can only hope to open a bag of Cheetos and have a Pokemon character look-alike in there to sell for $88,000.
Just look at every single piece of food now that comes, but right before you eat it, wait a second, could this be? Could I put it up for auction?
Everything in my pantry and kitchen when I go home now.
I wish I had just, thousands to just, buy a piece of food like that.
Well, we do have something that'll hopefully make up for it. I know we were chilly today, Siobhan.
Yeah.
And even though there is a little snow in the forecast tomorrow, we do still have some warmer temperatures not too far away.
Okay, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
Your full forecast right after the break. And then later in this week's Popcorn Picks, we've got the scoop on the new sci-fi film Mickey 17. Stay with us for that and much more. 6 News at 5:30. We'll be right back.